Hello, everyone. I'm Masumi Sudo, MC of the second half of this symposium. Now we would like to start second part of the symposium. Yesterday, we had expert workshop focused on global environment and health, sustainable consumption and production in Asia. These topics are strongly related to sustainability in Asia, and their discussions and outcomes should be helpful for today's panel discussion. So by taking this opportunity, we would like to share the summaries of yesterday's expert workshops briefly. First, we would like to ask Dr. Naishen Lian from NIES to share the summary of session 1, Global Environment Research Post-COVID-19. Dr. Lian, now the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. So what is that? Yes. Okay, this is Naishen Liang from NIES. I would like to summarize yesterday afternoon's session 1. And so first, let's look at the Asia. And all Asia and have the world's largest temperature transect, and it covered from the boreal, so-called temperature, subtropical and tropical ecosystem. Also in Asia, we have 2 monsoon systems. One is from the Pacific Ocean, and another one is from the Indian Ocean. And from that, our ecosystem, Asia ecosystem, has the very humid from the coast to the inland is a very dry ecosystem. That's why sometimes we can say, if you know the Asia, you can understand the world. So by hand, and all Asia also covered the less than 30% of the global land area, but all Asia support more than 60% of the world population. Also recently, all Asia suffering the world very extreme climate change, including the heat wave, drought, and typhoon, the flood, El Nino and La Nina. Also, Asia has a world fast increase economic growth. Also, we have the very intensive land use and the land use change, like the deforestation, afforestation, and peatland drainage. Also cuts the mangrove for the fishing ponds. That's why we can say that Asia, the Asia ecosystems under the very high pressure from the multi-pressure of the like that we said that. Also from last year, we suffering the COVID-19. So COVID-19 pandemic and is a very crisis affecting everyone to everything. And that's why we need to rethink and prepare the new strategies about the global environment research. So yesterday, we invited 8 top class researchers from seven major Asian countries, and with 5 from the East Asia, including Japan, Korea, China, and Mongolia, and another 3 from Southeast Asia, and including Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia. And the topics covered about the very long term, like the 30 years long-term global environmental research and the population dynamics versus the SDGs and the interactions between the social and the natural ecosystems. Also, it includes the nomadic and pastoralism versus the natural conservation, and also including the terrestrial ecosystem research network and the data sharing, and includes the land use and the land use change versus the carbon sink. Also, from the Malaysia, they reported about the function and utilization of the smart forest system. Also, the one report from Indonesia, they reported about the restoration of the peatland, the mangrove. And we are, of course, we are apologizing from the picture. You can see that all of the report is a female scientist. And if we have time, and in next year, we will try to invite the female researchers from the Asian country. Also, we make a very large gap, and it's in South Asia. And maybe if next year, we have a chance, we will invite the researcher from South Asia. That's all, is my report.
Thank you, Dr. Liang. Next, we would like to ask Dr. Yasuyuki Shibata, Vice Director of Environmental Safety Center in Tokyo University of Science, to share the summary of Session 2, Environmental Factors are Major Health Concerns in Asian Countries. Dr. Shibata, now the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for your introduction. I'd like to report the summary of the Session 2, Environmental Factors are Major Health Concerns in Asian Countries. Environmental risk factors, including air pollution, chemical exposure, climate change, and infectious diseases, continue to be significant threat to human health. The Asian countries are on varying developmental stages towards a sustainable society in terms of pollution control, sustainable energy development, and public health. In Section 2, we shared our research knowledge of current environmental health issues and sought for expanding the environmental research network across Asia. After the opening statement, 8 outstanding speakers provided valuable contribution to this session. The first, Professor Zoe So, University of Medicine, Myanmar, reported the COVID-19 impacts on Myanmar and how the medical care capacity has been enlarged as a response to this threat. He explained how the country is overcoming the second wave of the outbreak, and it is preparing to avoid the third wave by an activity called Yellow Campaign. Then the Professor Omar, the same university, presented the studies on COVID-19 impacts on air pollution in Asian countries. She summarized that lockdown generally caused dramatic improvement in air quality as a result of reduced vehicle volume, human mobility, and industrial activities. Dr. So Min, a Mental Health Society Myanmar Medical Association, raised the issue of mental health during the COVID-19 pandemic. It has psychosocial consequences such as increased depression and anxiety. He advocated critical importance of individuals' awareness and public participation to control this difficult situation, in addition to medication and vaccine development. Then Ms. Kako Nagata Yoshida UNEP provided an overview of governmental cooperation for environment and health in the Asian region, which covers air quality, climate change, waste management, and antimicrobial resistance. Importance of raising awareness, establishing intersectional cooperation, prioritizing effectiveness measures, and scientific assessments are stressed. And then myself explained the role of environmental monitoring to protect human health and the environment from chemical pollution in the framework of the Stockholm and the Minamato Conventions. Importance of intimate collaboration between monitoring and modeling to tackle with global pollution was stressed by showing several monitoring data on POPs and mercury. Professor Chun-Mei Lee, Nanjing Agricultural University, China, shared her research on inflammatory responses caused by exposure to PM2.5 in pig farm. She revealed molecular mechanism of toxicity through toll-like receptor and inflammasome activation caused by pathogens and allergens in PM, and shows that there may be a significant risk factor for immune system of workers. Dr. Ryo Honda, Kanazawa University, Japan, presented a study on spreading of antibiotic-resistant bacteria in Asian water environment. He highlighted the significant role of municipal wastewater treatment plants, both as barrier and reservoir in bacterial discharge. During discussion, a leachate from landfills was emerged as another significant source. Dr. Dion Thi Han, Vietnam Academy of Science and Technology, talked about her challenges to analyze contaminants in aerosol particles in Hanoi. She detected more than 100 chemicals, including pesticides, combustion residues, plastic additives, and pharmaceuticals, and showing diversity of anthropogenic chemicals occurring in urban airborne particles. So in the panel discussion, education of next generation under the COVID-19 situation was of high concern among the countries, and also importance of information exchange and collaboration among different sectors, and awareness raising were repeatedly stressed by the panelists. At the end, short comments were given by the NIES President Dr. Chiho Watanabe and Vice President Dr. Yuichi Moriguchi. And the session chair, Professor Tan Tut, University of Public Health Myanmar, summarized discussions and closed this successful session. So in addition to COVID-19, we are facing various global environmental problems such as climate change, air pollution, chemical and waste management, and antibiotic resistance. In fact, many of them are caused by the overuse of energy and materials, including plastics, pharmaceuticals, and agricultural chemicals in our daily life. The issues are complicated and intertwined each other, but I hope and believe that science will find a way towards the establishment of safer and sustainable society, and we'd like to work together towards this goal. Finally, I'd like to express sincere thanks to all the distinguished speakers, chairs, organizers, and participants in session 2. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shibata. In the last, we would like to ask Dr. Hiroyuki Ishimori from NIES to share the summary of session 3, Sustainable Consumption and Production in Asia. Dr. Ishimori, now the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. My name is Ishimori. I'm talking about the overview of this session. Session 3 is entitled Sustainable Consumption and Production in Asia. This SCP session consists of 6 presenters working for NIES, University of Tokyo, MFU, and UNEP. This slide shows the overview of this program. Sorry, show me a second present. Sorry. Here is the status of guests. About 150 persons were registered. They were from mainly Japanese, Myanmar, Malaysia, and Korea. Their interest to environmental problems were clarified like this. Finally, slide. In this session, material production, consumption, waste, and their supporting policy were presented with international and domestic research like this. For example, studies on policy and scenario were introduced with results of workshop with Thailand and Japan. And home electronics and air conditioners were discussed in environmental impacts. In particular, an air conditioner's effect was dependent on income, house structure, and the use. Discuss action plans how to reduce the environmental impacts. Also, studies on mercury and plastic contaminations were discussed. In particular, plastic contaminations become serious due to COVID-19 because of face mask, washing soap bottle, and changing eating style to take out. And finally, case study for verifying effect of utilizing a local resource on Tagenagashima were presented. We discussed how to get over plastic problem and to apply raw utilization system to other sites. It's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ishimori. As we have heard, the expert workshop had very successful discussions and brought fruitful outcomes and insights for pursuing sustainability in Asia. Thank you very much.